Hey, welcome back to the channel here. Wayne King with 717 Throttle Therapy. And welcome to Vegas this time. We were riding, my wife and I rented a couple of motorcycles from EagleRider in Las Vegas and took a ride in some of the surrounding areas. I had ridden out here, but my wife had not, at least before, but until now. I rented an FJR 1300, a Yamaha sport touring bike, and my wife was on a cruiser, a Yamaha Bolt, and similar, she has a Harley Sport Glide at home. So this bike was close to that style, but obviously a little bit different. But I loved this bike. It was a lot of fun. It does have enough, it has the small bags. You can get enough in there for a nice weekend ride if you want to. So it is a sport touring bike, so you can tour on it. EagleRiders did a great job. They had a pretty good, well, they had quite a few options to choose from, the type of bikes you wanted to do. I'll do a separate video with them where we actually walk around the inside of the building. But we decided to, this was on Saturday, March 23rd. And we decided to go to Red Rock Canyon. Now, Vegas, the weather was pretty nice. But we were told that, based on where we were going, there's a chance that we're going to get into some colder temperatures and maybe even some rain because there were some clouds in the area. So we kind of anticipated that, but it got a little bit chillier than colder than what we had expected. But we were dressed for it. I had some extra gloves and stuff. This is a picture here at Red Rock Canyon. Now, we did not do the loop, and for the main reason was well, there was some clouds moving in, and it was getting pretty cloudy there, and we knew we were most likely going to head into some rain. We did have a little bit of rain, and like I said, the temperatures dropped quite a bit, about 15 degrees, as we headed northwest a little bit from Vegas. But it was still the scenery. Those of you that are familiar with the area, you know what it's like. It's absolutely gorgeous. We were on Route 159 and also Route 160. And we headed for a little town called, now this is how the cab driver said it. So if I don't say this name, if I don't pronounce this correctly, this is our cab driver when we went to pick up the bikes. He said Pahrump. I don't know. Maybe there's a different pronunciation, but that's what he called it. Pahrump. So we wanted to get there. I saw there was a pretty neat little small casino and a restaurant. So we headed in that direction. But it got cold and cloudy after with the cloud cover. It wasn't quite as warm, but my wife did a great job. She was a real trooper through all of it. As you leave Vegas, you have 8 and 6-lane highways in Vegas, but you go from 6 lanes to 4 lanes to 2 lanes, and that's where it just really gets to be some nice riding and very little traffic. It's amazing that you're that close. You're not too far from the city, from Vegas, but you go from traffic everywhere to very little, and it's a beautiful thing. So as we pull into town, it's a small town, Pahrump. It's not very big at all, but we pulled into the casino, and they had a restaurant there called Moonshiners, and man, it was excellent. Some of the best smoked brisket I think I've ever had. And so we got something to eat, restroom break, all of that, warmed up, because we were a little bit chilly, so we sat and relaxed for a little bit. And then we headed towards Route 95 and to a little town called Beatty, Nevada. And again, not a very big town, just a small place. But as we pulled into Beatty, as we rode in, you can see a couple of jackasses on the left-hand side there. They had told us to watch for the horses and jackasses, wild jackasses running around. And, well, you see jackasses everywhere, but these were four-legged jackasses. So we got to see a couple of them on the outskirts of town. And Beatty, just a neat little town tucked away. They had a saloon where years ago, I kind of picture it as a Wild Western, the Wild West, where you would have had some horses parked outside of the saloon. Now, there's motorcycles parked outside the saloon, But if you ever get a chance to cruise through there, neat little town. From there, we headed back towards Vegas. And now's when we had some interesting riding. It was windy. They had told us that, we were watching the weather, and they said 35 to 40 mile an hour winds. And yeah, it was every bit that. It was windy, and there were some times we were really leaning the bikes into the wind. So, but, it made it was still a beautiful ride. Just because you have to deal with some issues with the weather, it's not that big a deal. That's part of riding motorcycle. And we stopped at Area 51 where my wife found her people. And it got her locked out, got her some time behind bars. I guess things got a little crazy. But I bailed her out and we kept going. And we were fighting wind all the way back into Vegas. So it did make it a little bit tiresome. We were ready to be back. So we get back into town, and we are staying at the Luxor. And again, I think I'm saying that correctly, but at any rate, pulled into the parking lot, parked the bikes for the night, and got ourselves a bite to eat, and rested up for the next day. Now, if you've never been to Vegas, one of the things that's amazing about Vegas, obviously casinos everywhere. If you like to gamble, well, then, it's the place for you to be. But my wife and I don't really gamble, but the architectural structure of these buildings is truly amazing. And, with me having a background in building and construction, I always find it fascinating. So that's one of the key highlights about Vegas, at least for me. More so than, gambling, because I don't gamble. So that's the end of day one. It's the end of Saturday, and we took another ride on Sunday, but I'll do the separate video for that ride. So over and out for now, and we'll catch up with you on the next video.